Good morning, Pioneers. Let's take a closer look into the girls' wrestling season.
The culture of the team, it's unmatched. I mean, you can ask any of the girls on the team. It's one of those things where, like, if you've been around it, you understand it. If you've been on other sports teams, you can just feel like on the girls' wrestling team, it's different. Like, it's a culture of just winning and sisterhood and family, and it's a great thing. I mean, we have a really strong class of seniors, and it's kind of one of those things where the girls wrestle very unselfishly. It's almost like they don't wrestle for themselves; they wrestle for their teammates. And they want to do well for the team. The strengths, I'm going to go back to it, our culture. They call it the orange effect. Like around the state, other teams call it the orange effect. That's probably our greatest strength, is just how much the girls care for each other and how much they want to wrestle for each other, how much they support each other. Weaknesses, we don't have any.
I feel like we have a great team culture. I would say out of all the teams in the school, even like we're the closest team, we're definitely like a family, and I feel like that shows in how we like cheer each other on.
It has had a big impact on my life. It showed me I can do hard things, and it's also shown me that, you can create your friends through your team. I encourage people to join because, like she was saying, the team culture is great and everyone has a place on the team.
Even though like the physical part is important in your sport, your mental set is really important, and like how you view yourself and how you like walk on the mat.
Good luck on the rest of the season. Now back to the desk.
Good afternoon. My name is Alex Ramft.
And I'm Justice Cullivan. Welcome to The Grit.
Today we have a little bit of a different show, and we're going to start with our interview. So now let's throw it over to Zach, who's here with head football coach, Coach Schrader.
Thanks, guys. Today I'm here with Orange football coach, Coach Schrader. Thanks for coming, Coach.
Thanks for having me.
Coming off a successful season last year, how did you guys build and improve off of it?
I think that was a good tone setter for our kids to, come off that. We had a chance to share the league and, won 9 games. And, it was kind of a surprise a little bit last year. But this year we kind of expected to, do some damage. So we had a lot of guys back.
All right. What's the difference between preparing for the playoffs and a regular season game?
When you're in the regular season, it's just not do or die. So, you're still trying to build depth and you're running some different things. But once you get in the playoffs, it's, all hands on deck and try to find any way you can to get the win. Because if you don't, you're done.
How do you stay focused on each game ahead of you?
We just go one game at a time. We focus on the task at hand. We don't think we respect all our opponents and we prepare the same for everybody. So, once the clock hits 0, we're on to the next one.
All right. Are there going to be any difference playing in a larger stadium tonight?
I don't know. I can tell you that later. I don't know. So we'll see. I think our kids are ready for it. I think it'll be a fun atmosphere and it'll be a good high school atmosphere for our kids.
All right. There's supposed to be a lot of rain. Is there going to be any extra preparation that goes into that?
It's funny you say that. I just sent a message out to the team. We're going to warm up in our practice gear just because I just try to find a way to not be soaked by the time kickoff comes. And, ball security is going to be really important and winning the field position battle. So, and then, obviously all the rain gear and towels and trash bags and everything we can to keep it as dry as possible.
Thanks for so much for coming in today, Coach. Good luck tonight. Now back to the boys.
Our defending state champ girls wrestling team starts their season on December 4th against Big Walnut. Here's Emmy with a closer look.
Good morning, Pioneers. Let's take a closer look into the girls' wrestling season.
Culture of the team, it's unmatched. I mean, you guys, any of the girls on the team, it's one of those things where, like, if you've been around it, you understand it. If you've been on other sports teams, you can just feel like on the girls wrestling team, it's different. Like, it's a culture of just winning and sisterhood and family, and it's a great thing. I mean, we have a really, really strong class of seniors. And it's kind of one of those things where the girls wrestle very unselfishly. It's almost like they don't wrestle for themselves; they wrestle for their teammates, and they want to do well for the team. The strengths, I'm going to go back to it. Our culture. They call it the orange effect. Like around the state, other teams call it the orange effect. That's probably our greatest strength is just how much the girls care for each other and how much they want to wrestle for each other, how much they support each other. Weaknesses, we don't have any.
I feel like we have a great team culture. I would say out of all the teams in the school, even like we're the closest team, we're definitely like a family, and I feel like that shows in how we like cheer each other on.
It has had a big impact on my life. It showed me I can do hard things, and it's also shown me that, you can create your friends through your team. I encourage people to join because, like she was saying, the team culture is great and everyone has a place on the team.
Even though like the physical part is important in your sport, your mental set is really important, and like how you view yourself and how you like walk on the mat.
Good luck on the rest of the season. Now back to the desk.
Now let's move over to hockey, where the boys went 1-1 on opening weekend, beating Tangy 3-1 with senior Josh Lambert and juniors Maverick Scholven and Jackson Teji scoring for the Nears. They also fell 6-2 to the Upper Arlington Golden Bears with junior Max Zavarilla and senior Ian Leskovich scoring 1 each for the Nears.
They take on Tangy at home tonight, and they will be away at UA on Sunday at the Ohio Health Ice House.
Boys wrestling starts off their season on December 6th at the Mount Vernon Invitational. Now here's Zach with a deeper look.
Pioneers, and today we're going to be talking about the boys wrestling season.
Season off, the boys take on Mount Vernon away. Then they travel to Upper Arlington. On December 13th, they take on Galley and Cooper. On December 29th, they go to the Medina Invitational. On January 3rd, they've got the Pioneer Classic. January 8th, they travel to Hilliard-Davidson. January 16th, they have the Clay Invitational. January 17th, they have the Clay Invitational and the North Union Invitational. January 31st, they have the Vikings Classic. And on February 12th, they travel to Olentangy Liberty.
My name is Coach Hipsher, and I coach Olentangy Orange Boys Wrestling. We really try to rely on our gas tanks, so conditioning, and then as well as our strength training program, we have strength standards that wrestlers have to adhere to make the varsity lineup.
I think something that will set me apart from other wrestlers is putting in more time and effort and doing as much as I can to prepare for a season.
Some of the underclassmen, we have a couple really solid freshmen coming up. Caitlin Carter was a OAC state qualifier, and so was Rylan Nelson, along with a couple other young guys that are in the sophomore class that are looking to make some waves, like Colin Long.
Us is going to be the Big Walnut, our first in-school duel. I've been trying to be very inclusive for the preseason lifts and practices and do as much as I can. My personal goals for this season are to have more wins than losses and to make varsity. Hipster and Tressler have helped me a lot by being extremely inclusive and trying to make all the team feel fit in and do as much as they can for us.
We wish to teach them not only to be successful on the mat, but also successful people when it comes to the classroom and socially. So that's a really big point of emphasis for our program.
That's all, Pioneers. Now back to the desk.
Football is on to the regional final after a huge win against district rival Liberty 21-17. Senior Lucas Fickle had 2 touchdowns for Orange and Jake Lewin scored 1 through the air. A sack from senior Remley Bowen secured the dugout for Liberty. The boys play tonight at historic Crew Stadium against second seed Pick Central.
All right, now let's get into the best part of the show. As always, we got the pick'ems here. Now let's start it off with the biggest game, obviously, of the weekend for anyone in this area. It's Pickerington versus Orange, or Pickerington Central to be specific. So this is going to be a really fun game. It's in the Crew Stadium. It's going to be a lot of fun. Both teams have phenomenal defenses with great quarterback play. I think, honestly, these teams, in a lot of respects, have play very run-heavy offense. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see how they match up against each other. I like the Pioneers' versatility a little bit more, especially on that defensive side, having that 5 linebacker set that they tend to run. You have Kingston in on there. You have Brennan Kessler, who's been phenomenal this season, and it allows and honestly, it is all because of those corners on the outside with Zane Konzak and Train Trader able to lock down the outside that these linebackers are able to blitz and get to the quarterback. So I know the defensive line struggled a little bit in the Liberty game, but they picked it up, especially putting some weight on that D-line in the second part of the game. So I do think the Nears are going to get a tough, gritty football game here, low scoring, a lot like the UA Pickerington Central game was last week. But I do think the Nears get the win just off pure grit.
Yeah, and this is going to be a hard, gritty football game. Obviously, weather's going to be a factor tonight. It's supposed to rain throughout the whole game. It's going to be a run-heavy game, a defense-heavy game. These are both great running teams. Obviously, a very good freshman running back at Pick Central, and then obviously the Nears behind that giant O-line have Lucas Fickle, who has just been obliterating people this whole year. He doesn't care about scoring. He doesn't care about getting long runs. He just wants to run through someone, and we've seen that a lot this year. This is going to be an amazing game. I do think the Nears are going to take it. I think Orange's defense is a little bit better than Pick Central. I think they'll kind of be able to shut down the rushing attack from Rocco Williams and the rest of the Pick Central offense. So I do think the Nears take it. Very, very close game, though. And it's going to be decided on the ground in the trenches, and I think the Nears are going to be able to take it.
Now we got a little bit of a different showing here today. We got college basketball, which is starting up. We got the Wisconsin Badgers traveling to Salt Lake City to take on the BYU Cougars. And BYU's been phenomenal to start the year. They have, obviously, the brilliant freshmen on their team. They got Wisconsin is a little bit more of a veteran team. They were pretty solid last year, but they only won one of they got into the 32s for March Madness, but they're just a consistently solid team. BYU's only lost against UConn, who is one of the, I would say is a top 5 team in the nation, probably only behind Arizona right now. So I'm going to take BYU. I think that their 3-point shooting is insane. I thought they were really good last year. They made a little bit of a run last year, but this year they have a lot more talent than just good shooting. So I think that BYU takes this one.
Yeah, and I think in this game, it's going to be decided by a singular X-factor player, and that's AJ DeBanza for BYU. Wisconsin, phenomenal team, great defense, but they don't really have a certain person that is getting posted everywhere that everyone knows. Like, they don't have a huge star talent that's been hyped up for years. That's what BYU has on their team. I think he's going to be a factor. I believe this game's on Saturday, or it's either tonight or Saturday. He's going to be a huge factor during this game. I see him scoring upwards of 20 points against still a really solid Wisconsin defense, but I think BYU takes it.
Then we got what is essentially a playoff game. I think whoever wins this game and whoever loses, the winner is probably set in at that 10 spot to make it into the playoffs. Obviously, the group of 5 team and the ACC champ will most likely get in, and they'll probably be lower ranked. But I think this is going to be like that last spot at the playoffs. Oregon has not been impressive this year at all. They've been very disappointing in my opinion. Dante Moore looked really good against Penn State, who at the time we thought was Penn State, not whatever they are now. So that win obviously doesn't look impressive as it did earlier in the season. Other than that, they don't really have anything super impressive. They beat Iowa, which was a tough, gritty game, but compared to USC, who absolutely manhandled Michigan at home, USC looked a lot better in that game than Oregon did against Iowa. That being said, USC is a terrible rush defense. They're like 127th in the nation in rush yards. Oregon is the number 2 rush offense in college football outside of Navy, who runs the ball every single play. So I do think Oregon gets the win here solely because of the matchup. I think that running attack versus that terrible defensive line or run-stopping defensive line that USC has. They're really good at rushing the passer, not great at stopping the run. So I do think it's going to be a close one, but I do think Oregon pulls it off.
Yeah, and you went over everything there really is in this game. The matchup is the main factor in this game. Oregon's just going to run all over USC. There's going to be no stopping it. Autzen is just going to get pumped up. I feel like first or second play that Oregon has the ball, they're going to take it 70 yards on the ground. And it's going to be one of the loudest crowds this weekend. I mean, Oregon obviously already phenomenal fan base and a really loud stadium. That's going to end up not even really being a factor in this game just because of how dominant I think Oregon is going to be on the ground this game. I don't see this being close at all. I do think USC kind of drops out of their playoff contention this week, and I'm going to take Oregon.
Then we got Pitt, who's coming off of a rough loss against Notre Dame at home, taking on Georgia Tech, who just seems to never they always seem to be in these close, tight games, and Haynes King always seems to bail his team out. Can they do that against Pitt? One thing that really frustrated me about Pitt, I want to talk about last week a little bit in this one, is that their coach basically said that the Notre Dame game didn't matter, and I don't like that philosophy. But he did say this one obviously matters, and this is an ACC eliminator. Whoever loses this game is not going to the ACC championship. Whoever wins this game is most likely going to be in that ACC champ. I like Haynes King. He is one of my favorite players in college football that is not on the Ohio State Buckeyes or Notre Dame. I'm going to have to take him. The guy, Georgia Tech, is just, Haynes King is just a warrior. It reminds me a lot of Max Duggan, just a guy who will put his head down and just run right through if he has to. He can beat you through the air. I love Haynes King. It's going to be a really close game and probably the best game of the weekend. I'm going to take Georgia Tech, though.
Yeah, and here, I love Haynes King as well. I love this Georgia Tech team, but it's another one of those teams I feel like that never gets over the hump. I love them every year. They play great at the start of the season, but they always seem to kind of fall short at the end of the year. I think this is the moment they do that. Obviously, Pitt, led by a great freshman quarterback, and they have a really solid team. Obviously, rough loss to Notre Dame, but considering what their coach said, I don't think they were in the right mindset going into that game. I think they're going to be fired up here, and I think they go and stun Georgia Tech.
And then we got BYU going to Cincinnati to take on Brendan Sorsby and the Bearcats. I think the line for this game is 2.5, which was insane to me. So people are predicting this to be a really close game. It's not. Barrett Bachmeier looked phenomenal against TCU last weekend. He threw for 350 yards. He ran for a touchdown. He threw for a touchdown. Just really good all-around game. LJ Martin is one of the best running backs that no one talks about. They have one of the best coaches that no one ever talks about in top coaches in college football. BYU has the 4th or 3rd best record in all of college football since last year. In all of college football, since week 5. They are outside of only Ohio State and Indiana. Those are the only 2 teams who have a better record since last season than BYU does. They have looked phenomenal outside that Texas Tech game. I think they get an easy win here. Brendan Sorsby has looked horrible the last couple weeks, especially after that really good start to the season he had. But I think BYU takes this one.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it pretty short here. Cincinnati's not as good as everyone thinks. Obviously, they were ranked last week, but fell out of that after a pretty bad loss. So I'm going to take BYU and Bear Bachmeier to get it done pretty easily.
And then finally, really the only NFL game of worthy mention, we got Pittsburgh traveling to Soldier Field to take on the Bears. I need the Steelers to lose so the Ravens can get back into the playoff picture. So give me the Bears. Caleb Williams looked phenomenal. Even I'm a hater for him, and the guys look great. Did not believe in him, but he's looked really good. One of the best pocket-moving quarterbacks. Bears win it.
Yeah, and I'm going to have to follow you here. The Bears, they've just looked really solid. The Steelers have obviously a decent record, but they've looked a little shaky. And obviously, as a Bengals fan, I just want the whole AFC North to crumble because of how bad they're doing. So I'm going to keep it pretty short and take the Bears and Caleb Williams. That's all for our show today. Thanks for tuning into this week's edition of The Grit. Make sure to support your Nears in action this week. I'm Alex Ramft.
And I'm Justice Cullivan. We hope to see you next Friday right here on The Grit. And as always, roll Nears.